Welcome to the Consumer's Corner Show, the only show of its kind where we fight for consumers who've been wronged by bad businesses. We answer questions, solve problems, and listen to complaints while also recognizing great companies that operate professionally with honesty and integrity. Today's show is sponsored by allaboutdriveways.com. Your driveway is the entrance to your castle. It's the first thing people see when they pull up to your home. Whether it's an asphalt driveway, a concrete driveway, a brick paver driveway, or a good old-fashioned gravel driveway, let allaboutdriveways.com help you get your driveway installed or maintained the right way. And now, your host of Consumer's Corner, consumer advocate, Patrick Mattingly.
Hey, welcome to the show. All right. We're going to do another Consumer's Corner show today. I love doing these shows. You know why? Because I just love helping people. I just absolutely love it. It's so much fun to be able to help people. So for those of you that have never watched the show before or haven't seen any other shows, I'm just going to tell you real briefly what we do, okay? Consumer's Corner show gives consumers a voice. Have you ever had a situation where you had a problem with a company and you couldn't get them to do anything? They just ignored you. They wouldn't do anything to help you out. Have you ever had that situation? And maybe, you felt like they were definitely in the wrong, and you try to contact them and they won't return your calls. They won't answer your calls, text messages. They won't email you back, nothing. Or maybe you've had a situation where you've hired a company to do something for you, and at first they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to come and take care of you. And then the next thing you know, they're like, they don't respond to you, right? Or that maybe there's another situation where maybe you had a job done and maybe you're just kind of wondering, man, was that really a good job? Was that right? You have questions maybe. Well, you can actually call into the Consumer's Corner show if you've had problems and they won't respond to you, a business. And guess what? I will step in and help you for free. I do this for free. I don't charge any money. I do it because I love helping people. Yes, do I make money in other ways? Of course I do. I couldn't do this for free and survive, right? So I make money in other ways, but I do this for free for consumers. And of course, we have sponsors of the show, and we have sponsors on our websites. And these sponsors are companies that have been vetted, thoroughly vetted. Criminal background checks, credit checks. We follow them for 7 years. If they moved from Arkansas to Louisiana to Texas to New Mexico and to Colorado and then to Nebraska, and they did that within a 7-year period, we can follow them. And we can find out what businesses they've started and gone out of business. We can find out if they have had any litigation. There's so many things that we can find out. And so that's what we do. We do that here. Now, if you've had a situation where maybe you contacted the company and they verbally abuse you, we'll step in. I know I said something earlier. It was the third one. I can't remember exactly what I said. I have my producer sitting in there. Her name is Applesauce. Hi, Applesauce. This thing's in the way, isn't it? I'm going to get it fixed. I'll get it fixed like this next time. Anyway, so my producer helps me out a ton. We've had, we're learning this studio. This is a very, very, really, I guess I don't even know how to put it, just confusing. It's a lot of work. Anyway, so what we do is we help consumers that you can't get anywhere with the company. And by the way, that's what I was going to say. Maybe you had a job done. Now, I'm gonna bring somebody on the phone here in a few minutes, and it's about an asphalt driveway in Evergreen, Colorado. And anyway, what happened was he had this driveway paved, and he thought maybe something was wrong with the driveway. He thought, there's a few things wrong, and a few things went bad. And I'm going to let him tell the story. But the bottom line is that he contacted me through our website, allaboutdriveways.com. And by the way, if you have a complaint, let me back up here. So first of all, if you have a complaint about any company for any reason, for anything, you can go to marksallpros.com here in Denver and click on Consumer Resources. you can go to allaboutdriveways.com. That's how I got started in this. You can go to All About Driveways, and you can file a complaint against the company. It doesn't matter which website you go to. It doesn't matter what type of complaint it is. It doesn't even have to be driveways. It can be any type of business at all. You can go there and you can submit a complaint, and you can basically get a second opinion or a third opinion, okay? And if it's something that I don't know about, I mean, I'm not going to tell you that I'm an expert in everything. I've been in the construction industry for, since I was 16 years old. And I've been in the asphalt and concrete business for 20 plus years. And you know, the thing about the asphalt business, and that's why I did the website All About Driveways, was because the thing about the asphalt business is there's a lot of very unethical companies in that industry. Quite frankly, a lot of people always say, oh, the roofing industry's full of them. Well, they're full of them in the asphalt industry as well. And I say this because, it's easy for a company to go into business with an asphalt company and literally rob people, like criminally rob people. It happens all the time, because what happens is these guys have their little ways that they go in and do their little sales pitches. The most common one is, the most common one is where they say, hey, we're working right up the road, and we're paving somebody else's driveway, or we're doing something, and boy, we've got some extra asphalt, and we can give you a really good deal to pave your driveway today. And that is the biggest scam there is out there. It's a lie. It's not true. If it is true, they're very bad business people anyway. Because here's the thing, asphalt companies, when they figure out how much asphalt they need for a driveway, they figure it out within 1 or 2 tons. Now, 1 ton of asphalt, 3 inches thick, covers about 52 square feet. So less than this table, if you can see the table. Anyway, less than this table. So 1 or 2 tons, you know what happens? By the time that they were really to go out and cold call, knock on people's doors and say, we've got extra asphalt, that asphalt gets cold. It's not even usable. It's a waste of their time. So they would never do it that way. What they really do is they have asphalt trucks sitting at the asphalt plant, and they get somebody knocking on the door, and they say, oh, we've got extra asphalt. And then they say to you, I can pave your driveway for X amount of dollars. And, the most common thing I hear is people always say, gosh, he was just the nicest guy. And let me tell you, these people are very, very nice. And they're very skilled at making you believe that they're really good people. And so what happens is you say, oh, okay, go ahead and do it. They then go, no problem, I'll call the truck over. So then they call the trucks at the asphalt plant and say, I think we're going to need about, whatever amount of tons. Grab it and get over here, right? So then they go over there and they start grading the driveway, which they really don't even grade it. They just kind of scrape it with their tractors. They don't really worry about drainage. You don't want water running into your home or, into the garage. They don't really worry about drainage, and they just come in and they just kind of make it look like they're grading. And then they bring the asphalt truck in and they pave it. And I can tell you, I've seen them, some of them as thick as 3/4 of an inch maybe. I've seen driveways where people paid thousands upon thousands of dollars for driveways that are that thick. They're like 3/4 of an inch thick or less. And people get robbed by these people. It's criminal. And so anyway, that's kind of the common things that happen. Another thing that happens, and I've had multiple people go to my websites and file complaints and tell me, their story. And I've had people call me and tell me, well, I had this guy, he came in, he told me he's going to give me a great deal on the driveway. I said, go ahead. And they started paving it. And he got about halfway down the driveway and he came up to me and he said, gee, you know what? I actually miscalculated on this square footage. I can't pave your whole driveway for that price. And you go, oh, okay, well, that was, $3,500. I guess that looks like it's probably about the same. Should be about the same. Well, how much would it be to pave the rest? Oh, about $25,000. And people go, what? I don't have that kind of money. No, you can't do it. Well, you've already got $10,000 here. I go, well, I really should have only gone to there. They just come up with all these little games that they play. So this industry, in my opinion, is probably the biggest scam-filled industry out there. Maybe there's some that I'm not aware of, but roofing is they actually get the most complaints than driveways do. But here's the thing. These driveways, they are just so good at scamming people. And here's the thing. Most people don't know until 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, a year down the road that they got scammed. And so that's the problem with the asphalt paving industry. Concrete guys, they do some of the same things. It's amazing. They just, they don't say they have extra concrete because obviously that wouldn't work. Most people know that you can't have extra concrete, But anyway, that's the most common scam in the asphalt industry. And so people, I don't know how they find the website. I try to do everything I can so that people can find the website before they get scammed. But for whatever reason, I don't do a good enough job at that. I do a pretty good job of it because we get about 500,000 visitors every year on our All About Driveways site. And people go to that site to find, good contractors or to learn about it, whatever the case may be. But unfortunately, man, I just get so bummed out because I talk to people and they're like, yeah, man, I wish I'd have found your website beforehand. And I wish they would have too. That's the downside to it. So anyway, so if you've had a job done, it doesn't matter what it is. If I'm not an expert at that, I'll bring in our experts that are on a referral network. So what we do here at Consumers Corner is we help consumers, right? But a different business is, and this show is actually sponsored by allaboutdriveways.com. It's sponsored by trustpatrick.com. It's sponsored by marksallpros.com. And what we do is we have contractors and companies on those websites. I know it's kind of spread out. We're kind of dialing it in. But we have contractors on those websites that have been fully vetted. Like I said, we follow them for 7 years. We find out if they've had litigation. We do everything we can to make sure that when we send you a company, if you, go to the website to find a company, we do everything we can to make sure that you get connected with the best of the best out there. Because listen, we've only got one shot at this, right? If we ruin our reputation and don't send you good companies, are you ever going to use us again? Probably not. So what we want to do is connect you with only the best companies out there. Only the best. They have to pass a criminal background check. They have to pass a credit check. They have to pass all these things. They have to, do all these things. We set the bar so high, we turn down more companies than we let on. So what happens is these companies that are on, I'm telling you, they're the best companies out there. They're such great companies. They are the type of people that if you have an issue, they're gonna bend over backwards for you. Now, unless you're a consumer that's just a complainer. And unfortunately, there are those out there too. There are consumers out there that have learned how to play the game. And I'm not even going to go into it because I don't want to teach people how to play that game. But the bottom line is that there are people that complain and they don't really, they're just whatever. They're not happy. They can never make them happy. Some people are just too difficult to please. And so we do get a lot of those as well. Not a lot of them, but we get a few of those as well. And here's the thing. I want to explain something to you. When I get a complaint, I do everything I can to not pass judgment until I get both sides of the story. So, I put that caveat on there because I know a lot of, I can do just a little bit of research on an asphalt company and I can kind of give you an idea. It's my own idea and my own opinion. It's not fact, but I can look at a company and go, okay, these guys are probably not the best company, right? And I will tell you this, the guys that are not such great guys in this industry, in the asphalt industry, they have the nicest websites. They have the nicest, most cleanest equipment. And they are the nicest guys. So they present themselves so well. And it's because they want you to go, I can trust these guys. And you can't. That's the downside to it. It's really disappointing. So, and I'm not saying all of them, but most of them. Like I say, they got the nicest websites. They've got the nicest equipment, and they're always just the nicest people until they get your check and until you have a problem and until you call up and say, listen, something's wrong right here. then they're not so nice. And I'm going to tell you a quick story. Well, actually, I'm not going to tell you the story, but I've got a gentleman that filed a complaint against a company in Evergreen, Denver, Colorado. And, you know, I'm going to let him tell the story, but the bottom line is that, you know, he is, quite frankly, a super nice guy. And he told me, you know, I used to kind of do the things that you did. I'd always try to connect people with the best companies, and, you know, I'd refer the people that I trusted. And man, I can't believe that, you know, where I'm at with this right now. And I said, well, listen, you just pass that torch to me. Okay. Because I think what happens is, as we age, we tend to let our guard down, and then we look at people and we try to judge their character. And that's really not a way to do business with anyone. Yes, it's part of it, but it's not the way to do business with people, right? We can't just look at somebody and go, oh, I really feel good about this person, and know that we can trust them. We have to do our due diligence. And if you don't want to do your due diligence, and you don't want to take the time to do your due diligence, and you just don't have the time, and you don't want to get the 3 estimates, go to allaboutdriveways.com or go to marksallpros.com. Those are national referral networks, and we will get you connected with companies that we've checked out. Now, right now we're building this, and if we don't have somebody in your area for the services that you're requesting, we're going to refer you to our partner network, who also pre-screens and background checks their companies. But the caveat to that is that we can't guarantee they're going to be great companies. You can't let your guard down, because we haven't background checked them ourselves. So anyway, if you want to make it simple on yourself and you want to get connected with only the best companies, you go to marksallpros.com or you go to allaboutdriveways.com, and you get connected with the best of the best out there. These people are above board, and they're great companies. So anyway, so let's see here. Do you think that you could bring this gentleman on? Okay. You want to turn him up? I can't hear him. All right, hang on 1 second here. I think you have to drop him down there, right? What's the matter? Okay, how's that? Can you hear me, Rich? Hang on. Okay, what are we doing here? Okay, we good? Rich, can you hear me? I can't hear him. Is he potted up? Turned on? Okay, there we go. There we go. Rich, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon, Patrick.
Hey, good afternoon. Thanks so much for coming on here. I want to do everything we can to try to help you out. So I want to finish saying something that I really try not to make judgments on companies until I've gotten the full facts. And quite frankly, when you sent me the complaint, I know full and well who this company was. It's interesting because I see them have their equipment parked out at a local motel. And I always tell people, you got to always look at people's license plates. You know, don't just look at the guy that's the salesman's license plates, but also look at the equipment license plates. Because a lot of companies will travel from out of state in the summertime, and then what they do is they go get P.O. boxes, or they go get a UPS box, and they register their business there. Maybe they register it. Sometimes they don't. And, they try to make themselves look as legitimate as possible without an office. So I always recommend you do business with a company that has an office. Now, that's not an all-the-time thing. It's a probably some of the time thing. You just have to do your due diligence. I know of a company that actually works out of a UPS box, and they actually are a good company. They do decent work. They don't scam people. They've been around for 20 plus years, and so it's not an all the time thing. It's a sometime thing. Anyway, so Rich sent in the complaint, and I think at that point, we're going to get to his story here in a sec. I think at that point he was kind of wondering, man, did I really get a good job or did I get a bad job? And through us talking a lot, we've kind of figured out that, well, I'm going to let him start telling the story. So, Rich, thanks for joining me. I want to ask you real quickly here. So, you sent in your complaint. Tell me the story. So, you told me the story from the very beginning last time. Tell me that story, or tell our listeners.
Well, I met Joshua Young when I called for a bid from a flyer that he sends out once or twice a year.
And what company is this, Rich?
All Sons. All Sons. I remembered him because he did come in very professional, very nice. He was just soothing and said he was a native of Golden, Colorado, and that his business has always been there. And he talked about his family. And I started to trust him very much. I called him back in 2019 with a flyer again that I noticed coming through to bid on driveways for my home up in Evergreen. And at the time, his bid was high, so I really didn't have the money to do the asphalt. I also done bids. I had completed bids with two other groups at the same time.
Oh, hey, by the way, whatever you just did to change your voice, we can hear you much, much better now. Whatever you did, keep doing that.
No, it didn't do anything, but that's okay. So I had three bids. I thought Joshua was in the middle, and he discussed how he's going to lay down the road base and contour the driveway and improve it, and it had to be improved. And ask him to come out and look at the driveway so that we can get it done this year. And he did. He was here. He then said, though, that it would need more contour than he had believed the year before, and that he wanted another $1,500 of road base to complete the job. And that didn't sound abnormal to me. He was still the nicest guy, very gracious. And I agreed to it.
So here's the thing. You already trusted him, which is why you called him back again anyway. And when he came to you wanting more money, you already had this trust for him.
Yeah, I did. I had trust for him 3 different visits: 2016, 19, and 2020. And I thought he would do a good job because he had gone over what he was going to do, how it was going to look, and he really impressed me that way. So I was happy with him.
Mm-hmm.
Signing a contract was a bit questionable because he sent one on my email, and it was higher than to my house, and signed one for $26,500.
$26,500. Now, I do want to ask you a question. This home that you have, you built this home. This is kind of your dream home that you built for your retirement, right?
Yes, and I started it in 2000. I mean, it was completed. The construction was 2000, and completed in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had a driveway. I always had pea gravel, which I enjoyed, and it was always contoured and worked well for me. But it always disappears. Pea gravel pushes its way down into the sub levels, and it disappears. So
especially when you remove the snow, right?
Well, the snow, I tend to carve my driveway up removing snow. That was another annoyance, but that's something that you got used to as the years passed. And it was 20 years that I've not had a driveway.
Right.
A permanent driveway, asphalt or concrete.
So you were really looking forward to having your driveway finally paved.
Oh, very, very excited by Joshua. Thought I had the right guy that was going to do a great job. He said he had a lot of equipment, and I was quite excited about it. Yes.
Okay. And let me ask you this. Was he a super nice guy when you met him?
He always is a super nice guy when you're listening that way. He didn't say yes or no. He just stood there and listened.
And had he gotten paid yet by this time?
He had been paid the first amount just to pay for the material.
Okay, so let me just say one thing. For those folks that are watching the show or eventually watch this show, one of the things that I always tell consumers is don't let an asphalt contractor or any contractor tell you that they require money up front. Any contractor that is stable financially is not going to ask for money up front. Now, there are two sides to that coin. Sometimes I've had contractors tell me, well, hey, I'm trusting them. They got to trust me. The problem is that the bad contractors out there steal money, and nobody wants to have money stolen. So what I usually say is look, if you want money down, I'll give you money down, but I'm not going to give you the money until you show up on the job with materials, or I'll go to the store with you. But in this case, it's an asphalt driveway. When you get here and you've got your equipment unloaded and you're bringing asphalt up, I'll give you 50% right on the spot. Okay? I get that. Some companies don't have that cash flow. So anyway, so keep going. So you hadn't paid him the final amount yet, and you kind of were pointing out some things, and tell us what happened.
And I was not surprised at asking me for an upfront fee because, with the COVID crisis and all the problems we're having, everything is upside down at this point. So to get money for the cost of his material, I wasn't surprised at the $10,000. So I did that, and I did completely trust him. But when he scheduled his appointment, he scheduled it for Monday, putting it in on Friday morning early. That was different, and he did bring in 3 truckloads of road base. I saw the trucks empty 3 times for the road base. The crew was a 4-man crew with an extra person that they had just hired named Andy, and that'd be 5 of them, and the Kubota and the things they were using, they somewhat laid the road base. They didn't do a complete job of road base, but I assume they decided where the wet spots were and that they improved it. So that was great. And he was to then lay down the asphalt the following Monday. On Monday, I'm certainly up early and ready to go to watch this operation, but he called in at 9:30 or 10 and canceled the appointment. The equipment, a lot of it's still sitting there in the road and on the road. And on Tuesday morning, with a short crew and all new people except for Andy. Andy was the only one that was present from Friday before. So that seemed odd to me. Mm-hmm. But they certainly started to use their equipment, and that's not something I understand. I watched the paving machine and the setting of it, and they were very nice men that worked with him, but I just felt a disconnect. I didn't understand. And it turned out that they were laying so much asphalt on certain areas, and other areas they weren't. And so the asphalt was
very inconsistent.
Inconsistent, yes. And it caused them a lot of problems. And I saw Mr. Young, who owns All Sons Asphalt, working the rolling machine himself, trying to catch up with what was going on, and I didn't understand how much problem that could be. So they took most of the morning to finish the back driveway and started the front driveway too, but they announced that, hey, it's beautiful, look at your back driveway. And I did, and I was so upset and concerned because footprints, irregularities, sometimes 6-7 inches of asphalt, other times much less. The runoff of water was not going in the right direction. It was going into my retaining wall, which was very large and would cause it, possibly to move or heave. So there were a lot of problems, and I called Joshua Young back because he wasn't on site and wasn't working with the crew. By that time, there were only 3 crew members. Also, I would point out, and a driver named Randy. Randy came to me then at 2:30 in the afternoon and said, well, we can't finish the front driveway. The quarry has run out of their orders today, or they're not producing any more asphalt. And I did not believe him and told him so. I was quite upset about that, and that's when I called Mr. Young to come out to this site and figure out what's going on.
Okay.
I discussed it for over an hour, the problems, the bird's nest, say much about it.
Gotcha. Okay.
I was surprised at that.
Had he been paid?
He had been paid the $10,000.
But he hadn't been paid in full yet.
No, he had not.
Okay.
So he did come back the next day, and he worked mostly on the back driveway, leaving the front driveway halfway done. It's a circular driveway, and it was half a circle. With a lot of the Kubota bucket cuts in the asphalt where it's been setting and pinched, but they were all there, and none of them could be rolled out. Joshua said he couldn't roll them out, but I had to drive on it, and they would go away. Then in the afternoon on Wednesday, he moved in a truckload of asphalt that had been setting on the road for over 2.5 hours, and started to put it in on the last section, which you'll see in the photos or the video that you've taken, Patrick. Thank you very much for that.
Sure.
And so then he was finished, and he did want his money. He said, when I said this is just not acceptable on the front driveway, he said, there is nothing else I can do. He was not impolite. He said, there's nothing else I can do. And I gave him a check.
Reluctantly, obviously.
Reluctantly, but also I had one visitor who said, do not pay him. So I failed my directions from others who seem to have more experience than I do in that situation.
Okay. And
so I was upset by the more I look at it. The people coming to their house for is what they telling me, and that started to pique my interest that I had been cheated or not had not been given the perfection that he claimed he was going to do for laying the asphalt.
Gotcha.
So I texted him and said, "This is not acceptable. It looks substandard. I don't think you're that you needed to roll it more, or that you needed to do things that I didn't understand what to say." And when I did, I then got a text from him, and I have the text in front of me now. He says his answer to my concerns with the pictures you see, he says, your driveway looks perfect to me, and the guy you had working on your house get fixed before my job was ever finished. I don't know what that means. We went over the job and over with you paid me. There's nothing wrong with the job, and at this point, wish we never done the work for you, because a perfect job you're complaining about. 6 straight roads, no seams, no asphalt sticking up. I used a picture of your driveway on my website. You're crazy. You're crazy if you think there's some explanations. Then he says exclamations. Then he says, we did a great job. You just a guy has nothing better to do than try to fight for nothing.
That's what he said about you?
That's what he said. And then he went on, I believe, in another follow-up. He said, you're just a crybaby.
Yeah.
I did laugh at that. To me.
Isn't that fascinating?
The crybaby's still concerned and thinks there are valid issues here that you need to repair. He just said, I did a perfect job.
That's interesting. Okay. So this, and now, correct me if I'm wrong. This was after you had paid him, he called you a crybaby and accused you of all this stuff. Yeah.
Well, yes, because it was a day or two after he finished that I'm still scratching my head on, this is not right. I just know this is not right.
Right.
I always thought you could probably oil it or heat it and, smooth it out or repair it. But he said no. And So I didn't know what to do. So I approached him and said, "This is just not acceptable." And that's when he said, "You're a crybaby."
Okay, so
I reached out to you on the web, and I'm delighted to have found someone who would be a consumer advocate and help me explain what I don't think is right, and at least let me know if it is right or wrong, Patrick. I appreciate it.
Sure, absolutely. So there's two things that I want to fill people, or three things real quickly here. So unfortunately, I didn't have the pictures set up to show them on this show today, but at the end of this video, there will be a video card. You can go and watch that video that I did, and I'll put a link also in the description here so people can see your driveway. They can see it's a very short video I did. I walked through your driveway, and I've got pictures. I've got the whole 9 yards. So I just want everybody that's watching or eventually watches this video to see that video. Like I said, I'll put it in the description of this YouTube video, and I'll also put it as an end card at the end of the video, so you can just click on it. So that's number one. Number two, you mentioned something to me that you were a little unsure about it, and you said there was another company. Let's not mention their name, but there was another company that came by that you said, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And he from what you were telling me, the guy wanted to sell you to overlay it. And when he knew you weren't going to bite on that and buy, pay him to overlay it, he then said, "Oh, it's a good job."
Yeah, he did. He really wanted to sell me on 2 inches, a new 2-inch layer of asphalt to roll it and perfect and improve the imperfections and the way all the water's draining.
And the minute that he knew he wasn't going to sell you, he then jumps out and says,
he clearly said, "Well, I know All Sons Asphalt, and I'm a competitor of theirs." And I didn't know what that meant, but he then just backed away and said, "Well, it's an okay job. Drive on it." He said, "Drive on it. It will get better." And I was actually...
Oh, I hear that all the time. Like a car is it's funny when I hear that.
I just
right now, but it's definitely sloppy work. Okay, so then the other thing is that I did call Joshua Young, and I spoke to him on the phone, and I told him, I said, "Hey, I just want to talk to you. I got a complaint about your company," and we had a few words back and forth, and I think the interesting thing is that I do try to give everybody the benefit of doubt, and I immediately knew he was like, "Who are you? You're not the Better Business Bureau." And when I hear that, I just laugh, because it's like, yeah, you're right, I'm not, and I wouldn't want to be like them, because I do things much differently. What's that?
I did get a text that alerted me that you must have been reaching out to All Sons Asphalt, because I got a text from Joshua Young, which alerted me that you definitely must have been talking with him.
Right. Yeah. So anyway,
and the I don't know if you want me to read that, but the text says.
Yeah, go ahead.
It says, "Hey, I can talk with you without your pit bull attacking me. If he wants to contact me, he can speak with my lawyer. If you want to talk to me, call me."
Yeah.
By that point, I don't think I want to talk to Joshua, because he has changed state. His tone is so aggressive and rude and shut off at this point. I don't think it's going to work to talk with him.
Well, of course, because, gosh, it's kind of an inconvenience to have to try to make somebody happy. Geez, Rich, what are you asking for here? Right?
I didn't know what I was asking for. That was a surprise until I got someone like you, a professional who can look at and evaluate the situation and with words, layman's words, tell me what is wrong and right with it. And I got this from you, and that was my suspicion. So I appreciate you for actually taking your time to come out to my home all the way up to Evergreen to look at it.
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. Look, every time I get a complaint around the Denver area, I go take a look at it. And here's the thing, I get complaints all the time. I get so many complaints. Sometimes I can't keep up with them all over the country. I get complaints from people in Canada, in Australia, that want me to help them because they can't seem to get these contractors to do the right thing. So what I thought was really just in the United States is actually in Canada and Australia as well. I don't believe I've had anybody else contact me from any other countries, and so I will tell you, look, I've told many, many people, look, your job's not so bad. You actually got a pretty decent job. And from the research that I did on this company, I'm not talking about your situation, but other complaints, I say, look, I do my due diligence. I don't want to jump to conclusions, and I don't want to throw somebody under the bus who shouldn't be. Maybe they had a bad day. Look, and we all have them. I don't expect perfection. The companies that we have on the referral network, we don't expect perfection from them because we know that everybody has a bad day once in a while and something's going to go wrong. But anyway, so I've told many, many people, look, you look like you've got a really good job there. I wouldn't worry about it too much. It's the blatant things that are easy. There's a lot of gray ones that are really difficult. And I will tell you. So here's the thing. I went up to your house. I took some video. I took some pictures. And, I had a hard time constraining my frustration because you're such a nice guy. And, you told me this is your dream home and, you've been wanting the driveway for so long. And you get one chance to get this done right. You get one shot at it, right? And then all of a sudden you have something in front of your home that you don't like, and it's disappointing and it's depressing. And Richard, don't feel bad because you're not the only person. I've spoke to many, many, many people that have gone through the same thing, and that's why we have the referral network, and that's why we do the due diligence that we do, so that people can get connected with companies that they don't have to deal with that stuff, right? So anyway, I went up to your house. Now, I went up to your house, and I'm going to tell you what I saw. There's a video that the people can see at the end of this video, or the link, the description. But I took some video, and some of it I think went a little bit too fast. But the things that stood out to me was, number one, I will tell you that most commonly not so good asphalt contractors, what they do is they'll pave a driveway, and then they tell the consumer or the homeowner, hey, if you go with me, once it's finished, I'll seal it for you, and it'll be nice and sealed for you. Well, that right there is 100% a scam, because you cannot seal a new asphalt driveway until it's a minimum of 6 months old. So that's a scam.
Patrick, that was said to me when I showed all my concerns and pointed them out. That was offered, that they were going to seal my driveway. And
was he going to charge you for it?
No, not then. They say they sealed it on the last day, Wednesday, that they sealed the driveway. But they offered that they would come back in a year and seal it again for $2,500.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, you can't seal asphalt. You cannot see asphalt cannot be sealed. You can go to the National Asphalt Pavement Association. You can go to the Colorado Pavement Association, and people will see that you cannot seal asphalt until it's a minimum of. Some say 3. I will be in defense of that. Some people say 3. I say 6. Why? You just go on the safe side. You can't seal asphalt until it's at least 6 months old. A couple of them, I think, say 3. But anyway, or one of them does. Anyway, so that's the first thing. So whenever a homeowner tells me that they say, oh, we sealed your driveway, what they really did was they covered up all their flaws. That's really what that does. And what they do is they don't really use sealer. They go get tack oil. And tack oil is what they use when they add a new layer of asphalt to existing asphalt. They spray tack oil on the driveway or on the asphalt, whether it's a parking lot or the road or a driveway, and then they put the new hot asphalt on top of that tack oil, and you can literally hear it fizzling and cracking, right? Crackling, because it's that asphalt's so hot, and it bonds that asphalt to the old driveway or the old asphalt. Mm-hmm. Well, what a lot of these guys do is they'll take tack oil, which costs pennies. It's so cheap, it's not even funny. They'll water it down really good, and then they'll take a sprayer and they'll spray it all over the driveway. A lot of times they get it all over other things, like edging and borders and bricks and things of that nature. And they tell you, really?
That's about that.
Really? So they got it everywhere, right? Yeah. Okay.
And brown spray put over my whole driveway, both driveways.
Yeah. So that's the first thing that I noticed about your driveway was that they had sprayed it with what I believe to be tack oil to cover up their flaws. That's what companies that aren't very good at this do, is they cover up their flaws with tack oil. And then when I saw the front driveway, I actually said to you, I was like, I'm not really that concerned about this driveway. There's a few things that I think that could be potential drainage problems. But then you showed me the manhole, which is your septic tank, right? And they didn't put a riser ring on it where they should have. A professional. Now I will tell you, I spoke to Mr. Young, or is that his name? Whatever, Josh Young, I think. I spoke to him, and he claimed he's a professional. He's been doing it for 25 years. Well, guess what? A professional would offer to put a riser ring in for you. They're not that much money. They're a couple $100. And for as much money as he charged you for your driveway, he could have easily gotten a riser ring, put it in that manhole, and then put the asphalt right up to that lid so that you don't have water draining into your septic tank. So that's something that, unfortunately, you're going to have to fix at some point. Anyway, and then I got to the front driveway, and that was where I was like, wow, this is horrible. This is like such horrible work. And you had mentioned to me that there were some areas that they were graded perfectly before they even stepped foot on the driveway, and they put the asphalt too thick and they put it too thin in some areas, and there were seams, and it doesn't drain right. It's just flat out. And I will tell you, it's not me saying this. I put that video up and I had people comment on it, and they said that is a terrible job. So it's not just me saying it. I am saying it. It's not just me saying it. It is a lousy job, period. End of story. It's a lousy job. The back you could probably get away with. I mean, I for as much as you paid, it should have been done right, period. But let's see now. So here's the thing. So I called Josh from All Sons Asphalt Paving, or Asphalt Seal Coating and Paving, and I did a little research on the company. And so here's the thing. In my opinion, I would never use this company. First of all, I called him. I did look him up, and he's got multiple complaints on the Better Business Bureau. He is registered with the state, and that's something I tell people to look out for. Go and make sure that the company that you're about to do business with is registered with the state, because that's the first thing you want to make sure that they're not a company that's just saying that they are, but they are not. So he's registered with the state, but his principal of mailing address is out of, or something, which one it is, it's principal office street address is out of Spring, Texas. Now, I know that a lot of companies come up from Texas and Louisiana for the summer in Colorado, and what they do is they do lousy work, and they knock on doors, and then now they do direct mail marketing, and they do beautiful websites, and they invest money into these websites so they can look like they're a legitimate company, and then they just do lousy work. Anyway, I'm not saying that's what he does as a rule of thumb, but I can tell you that based upon this job that I've seen, he's certainly not a professional at 25 years, that's for sure. Either that or he had a really bad day. And it sounds to me like he had a bad day, but that's not your fault. He should come back and fix your driveway. That's my opinion. He should come back and fix your driveway. And I think that the people that have watched the other video have agreed with me that your driveway should be fixed. It should be, it should look like a good driveway. So anyway, so that's where we're at. I called him, and quite frankly, we had words back and forth. He told me to shut my mouth, and it's funny, it's interesting how these guys are, and so the bottom line is that this is only my opinion. I wouldn't use this company. I mean, I just it's not, they're not the greatest company. But here's the thing. Now here's the last thing. I gave him a chance to call into the show and tell his side of the story. Okay. He emailed me, and he called me on his cell phone. So I've texted him and I've emailed him, giving him ample opportunity to come on, hear your side of the story, and tell his side of the story, and see if we could come up with a resolution, right? But he refuses to do that. So obviously he doesn't want to call in. He doesn't want to step up to the plate and at least tell his side of the story. Maybe we'll give him another chance. If he contacts me and he wants to tell his side of the story, maybe we can bring him on the show and we'll let him tell his side of the story. But at this point, I'm not impressed. I wouldn't use them. That's only my opinion. And we're going to see what we can do for you, Rich, because I definitely think that you've got some issues there that need to be resolved.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's great to have someone on your side when you don't know the industry yourself. So
Yeah.
You've helped me a lot.
Yep, not a problem. I love doing it. So,
unfortunately, you pointed out what I was sensing as not a good way of doing a driveway, and that turned out to be the case.
Yeah, for sure. So, well, fantastic. Thanks for calling in. I'm going to wrap up this show. So thanks for calling in. And you can listen till the end if you want, Rich. But thank you for calling in. And so, folks, there you have it. There's a story for you. There's a situation where this gentleman's building his dream home over the course of multiple years. And he's saving up for this asphalt driveway. And what does he get? He gets a lousy job that he has to look at every day he gets into his car. And, again, let's give Josh from All Sons Asphalt, Seal Coating, and Paving an opportunity to tell his side of the story. So we'll give him a couple days here. Maybe he'll contact me. Maybe he won't. But we'll see what he's willing to do. And if he is, that's great. He has the opportunity to show people what a great company he is by stepping up to the plate and taking care of Rich. Or he has the opportunity to show that, he's probably not somebody you'd want to use. I don't know, my opinion. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. Do me a favor, please subscribe to my channel here. Click on the subscribe link, and then do me another favor and click on the little bell so that each time we upload a video, A, or B, each time we go live, you get notifications. And if you are watching this on Trust Patrick YouTube channel, go to the Consumers Corner show and subscribe there so you can get our live shows. And I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you listening. And do me a favor, the last thing, leave your comments in the comment section and tell us what you think. Make sure you watch the other driveway. Tell us what you think. If you think that this is what I say all the time. Let us know if you think that Rich is just complaining and you just can't make the guy happy. And, All Sons Asphalt Paving and Josh is a pro, or if Josh is just a hack. Let us know. We appreciate you watching. We'll see you on the next Consumers Corner show. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.